98FM. The sound of the city.
98FM's Dublin Talks. Weekdays from 10 a.m.
With Adrian Kennedy.
Now, many of you will find our next topic very emotive and upsetting. Anything involving babies being hurt really, angers the public. And rightfully so. So can you imagine a baby being born in a Dublin maternity hospital this morning, screaming in pain and shaking like a leaf, because it has been born to a mother who is addicted to drugs? Have a look at our Facebook page if you get a chance, at facebook.com/Adrian K and Jeremy D. And a warning to you, it is very distressing. 76 babies were born in Irish hospitals last year with drug addiction withdrawal symptoms. Basically, babies born with cold turkey. In the last 4 years, there was a total of 472 of these cases due to their mother's use of drugs during pregnancy. Now, the HSE, we've been on to them, they haven't released details of exactly what drugs the mothers are addicted to, but they include cocaine, cannabis, opioids. Were all an issue among these pregnant women, but they haven't given specific figures to us. Now, these babies being born to drug-addicted mothers, according to the report, can be very agitated, difficult to feed, have high-pitched cries, and exaggerated tremors. Now, this is clearly very sad and very shocking, but what can be done to prevent this in the future? Now, I'm about to play a little bit of audio for you, and I want to give you a warning that this is very distressing audio. And if you would find it distressing to hear a baby crying in a horrible, horrible way, I'd ask you to switch off your radio for a moment, okay? And I'm doing this not to be sensationalist. I'm doing this to bring home what this is doing to our babies. 472 cases in the last 4 years of babies born addicted to drugs.
A crying baby is always unsettling. And it's even worse when you know the baby, like this little girl, just days old, is in pain. Her jittery shakes and her shrill cry are very distinctive, and they last for days. Doctors know exactly what's to blame. Heroin.
Okay, now that is very distressing to listen to. It really is. Doctors know exactly what's to blame, and that is the mother's continued use of various different types of drugs during her pregnancy. We've often spoken on this programme in the past about women continuing to drink or women continuing to smoke, and the majority of women, as soon as they find out they're pregnant, they knock the drink on the head, they knock the cigarettes on the head, and just do it as a matter of course. Now, not everybody does, but a lot do. And when you hear, in fact, just even the thought of a mother pregnant, knows she's pregnant, continuing to take heroin, for example, it's disgusting, isn't it? But what can be done? What should be done? Some people say take the kids into care. Others say prevent them getting pregnant in the first place. Now, I don't know how you can possibly do that. I'd love to hear from you. Our telephone number is 6797 981. Text or WhatsApp us on 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. Claire, you're on 98FM. Hi, Claire.
Hi, Adrian.
Well, Claire, what did you want to say on this?
I just, that video, that just left me speechless. I can't believe that drug users, junkies, whatever you want to call them, I personally think they should be sterilised. They should lose that right. Because most women, when they find out they're pregnant, automatically think, do you know what, I'm going to start eating healthier, I'm going to drink more water, because it's going into the baby. But, they don't know what day of the week it is. They don't know. They don't care. Anyone that has any addiction, they're so selfish. They don't care about anybody but themselves. They just want their next fix. They just don't care. So I think they should lose that right, and I think they should be sterilised, because there's so many couples.
I know people say things like that, Claire, that the mother should be sterilised. We can't, in all honesty.
I know.
Realistically, forcefully sterilise people.
Yeah, I know they can't. They should be given something. They should be given the injection, because they'll probably forget to take the pill because they're too strung out on heroin or whatever. Do you know what I mean? They should be given something else to prevent it, because it's very hard to see that how easy they get pregnant and how they don't care at all for the baby. And there's so many couples in the country that would give their left arm to have a baby, and they just aren't able to have a baby. And it's so upsetting, even more so, to see that.
Okay, when I hear figures, and by the way, as I said, there's a video on our Facebook page right now at facebook.com/Adrian K and Jeremy D, and it shows a little baby going through, and it is upsetting. But it's upsetting, and we're intending to upset you, because you need to see this. You need to see this video to realise, and I know you said, Claire, you found the video very upsetting. That video, by the way, isn't sped up. It is actual speed. The baby is shaking uncontrollably as a result of withdrawing from drugs. I mean, drug addicts talk about how it's so difficult to give up because, you get sickness and whatever. This is a baby against its own will going through this. But okay, Claire, do you believe, for example, that these babies should be taken into care?
100% I do, because the mother's not going to be able to look after them. They can't look after themselves. How are you supposed to look after a baby? I mean, and that piercing cry, like that sends shivers. And I have to say, fair play to the midwives and all the nurses, assistants in the hospitals that work with that, because I couldn't possibly do that job. I wouldn't be able to.
No, I don't think a lot of us would. It's very upsetting.
To that on a daily basis, it's just horrendous. And I know that you can't sterilise and stuff, but at least you are raising awareness of what's actually happening.
And like I said, if you want to see the video, and don't look at the video if you think you might find it upsetting, but it is on our Facebook page right now at facebook.com/Adrian K and Jeremy D. Facebook.com/Adrian K and Jeremy D. Let me read out this message that's come into us. I had my baby last year, and opposite me there was a drug user. She made my blood boil, and I couldn't stop crying. She was shouting at the staff. She wanted to go home with her baby, but the doctors kept saying that her baby needed to stay in. She started talking to another lady, saying he, i.e. her partner, wants another one already. And that she had 2 kids at home as well. One was born at 28 weeks and the other was born at 30 weeks. Oh, unbelievable, it really is. It made me feel so upset and angry. I would love to hear from you on 6797 981. Stuart, what's your suggestion?
Offer money for sterilisation. You'll have them queuing up around the block.
Would you, though?
Yeah, you would. They done in America, if memory serves me well. They offered any of them to come up and they pay them to be sterilised, save the government, the system, loads of heartache and having to put people and babies through that.
Now, obviously we would like to do anything that would stop babies going through that, but I mean, sterilisation is a very final decision. I wonder what the take-up would be if, let's imagine a woman were to be offered, I don't know, whatever, €1,000 or €2,000 to be sterilised.
I wouldn't be going anywhere near that figure. I'd probably do a lot of them for that figure.
Oh, right. What, 100 quid?
Well,
100 quid?
It doesn't have to be a lot. These people want money for drugs. That's all they want. They don't want that child. They don't want to get that child off the drugs. They don't want to bring it up in an environment. They don't want to do that. All they want is drugs and feed their habit. And why should we all have to suffer for it?
And whatever about us all suffering for it, the baby's suffering for it, yeah.
Yeah.
You see, I don't understand how that would work, because a lot of people who are even addicted to drugs do in their heads somewhere see a life past drugs, do want to get off drugs, and to become sterilised for 100 quid Seems a very dramatic step to take.
You put that offer on the table in front of them and see how many of them go for it. They would be jumping at it, because all it is another fix to them, or 2 fixes, whatever the money may be, and however much it costs. It's nowhere near the cost that it is to society.
Okay, so basically, offer them money for sterilisation.
Oh, definitely, 100%. Yeah, 100%. And I guarantee you get a very high percentage of them that would jump at it. That would jump at it, because it means that they don't have to rob that mobile phone off that tourist or the camera going through town. Like people are saying they're drug addicts. Fair enough. They're not working 9 to 5 and then spending their earnings on drugs. They are on drugs and robbing and doing whatever they can to get that, as long as they're awake.
Okay, so you would offer a scheme where a woman would be paid money, whatever amount of money, although I can't see many people going through with the sterilisation for £100, no matter how
You'd be surprised.
No matter how strung out they are.
You'd be surprised.
Right, so perhaps talking about a bit more money than €100, but you reckon that would get them in... if it
was over €100, you'd have them climbing over each other to get in.
Okay, but the downside of this, Stuart, is that really what you're doing is you're paying these women to go off and buy more drugs.
Well, it'd be probably cheaper than having them robbing people for the next 10 years and having a child that's strung out on drugs being put through the system until they're clean, then adoption. Look, it's not. It doesn't even compare. Like, this person is going to continue on with their life, irrespective of whether they get sterilised or not. That's just another hit to them.
All right,
you can offer it to them for anything.
Okay, stay there for a second. He reckons offer drug-addicted women a cash incentive to become sterilised. We just got this message in saying, I can't believe what that first woman said. Women in addiction don't choose to get pregnant and make a baby suffer. Some addicts I know were going to treatment for Hep C and so on, and were so deep in addiction they couldn't go to their appointments. Nobody chooses to go into addiction and get pregnant. And Darren, that was you who sent that message. What are you shocked by? That people get annoyed about this?
No, it's not that. As I said to the girl, I have experience with addiction, but I also have it with recovery, as I'm in recovery. And I know from going through a treatment program that nobody in the right mind would plan to get pregnant while addiction and make an unborn baby suffer.
Okay, but a lot of them who do get pregnant, Darren, clearly don't make enough of an effort to not get pregnant.
No, but listen, you have to look at it from the other side of it. There's not the services in this country to support every woman and man that needs it. I'm not saying, listen, every one of them are doing their best. No, 100% I'm not saying that. I understand that. But this thing, sterilise all addicts so they can't have children, that's hocus pocus. What about the addicts that never had kids and get into recovery, get clean and have a good life? So they got sterilised. They can never have a family.
No, I did say it's a very dramatic step to take, and
totally over the top.
Yeah, but nobody is talking about forcefully sterilising anybody. What Stuart is suggesting is that they get offered money to become sterilised, so they're making a choice.
No, but listen, you're talking about an addict, someone that suffers, that goes to sleep thinking about drugs, wake up thinking about drugs. If you offer someone money, for whatever reason, they're going to take it, because in your addiction you do horrible things to loved ones, to friends, no matter what it is, to feed your addiction. So you're going to offer someone that's in the depths of their misery money to do something. It doesn't matter what it is, they're going to do it. And that person, if they ever find the strength and support they need to get clean and build a new life, they've ruined it all because some sad person thought it was a great idea to hand a suffering addict a bundle of money to make a decision that they were in no right state to make, and they never had a future.
Darren, answer me this. You're saying that nobody sets out to be drug addicted and pregnant, okay? And I'm sure nobody deliberately sets out to do that. However, how do you explain that 76 babies in the last year and 472 over the last 4 years were born drug addicted? That was 472 women who didn't make enough of an effort to stop themselves getting pregnant.
And listen, I sympathise with them, with the babies and the people involved that see this day to day. It is horrendous, and it's horrible. And unfortunately, look, some people just can't get that far. Where, as I said, like in the text, I said I've known people in addiction that have needed treatment for very severe illnesses, but their addiction was so severe they couldn't look after their health, their physical health. Like they'd prefer die than be able to crawl the streets to. You know, it's hard to explain. If you haven't been in the side of addiction, you don't know. Listen,
okay, Darren, do you understand? Do you understand why people get so annoyed about this when they see a video, like the video that we have posted on our Facebook, of a child going through chronic cold turkey, because that's exactly what the child is going through.
Listen, I have two nephews, and they have gone through the withdrawal. I've seen it, I've cried, I've felt that pain. I personally have that experience in my life. I know what it's like. I'm not saying that like it's not wrong. Of course it's wrong. I totally understand that. But these comments that's been made, like that you should sterilise them, you should give them money, that stuff is ridiculous.
Okay, Stuart, let me go back to you. Stuart, we need to give them a bit more compassion, understanding and help.
So what percentage of these people come through the other side, make their life fucking,
mind the language,
bring their life back on track and stuff, and then they want to have kids? In reality, what percentage of them do that? You're grasping onto a glimmer of hope there, and chances are
I'm not going to name treatment centre, but the treatment centre I've gone through up here in Dublin, there's a male and a female, and the percentage of women that come through that programme, I think the success rate is 70%. That's in one treatment centre that I know of. Now, as I said, the services in this country are diabolical. You know, so you can't just put it all on the suffering addict. Like, there has to be more support, things made available.
What do you mean you can't put it on the addict? Why can't you put? They're the ones that are doing it. Are you absolving them of blaming this because they're on the drugs?
Darren, let me read a message that's just come in to me, and it says, "My sister has destroyed," and she writes that in big letters, has destroyed her children's lives. People are sick of helping her. It's all being thrown back in our faces. Darren needs to stop making excuses.
Exactly.
What do you say to that, Darren?
In this day and age, I don't see there being an excuse, or like I don't see anybody that's strung out on heroin in this day and age saying, I didn't know that was going to do that to me.
Okay, Darren, what do you say to that? The message says, my sister has destroyed her 3 children's lives.
Listen, I'm not trying to make excuses for anyone. As I said, I sympathise. I know some people don't put the effort in, but what I'm saying is, listen, I had to leave my hometown and move 100 plus miles away to get the support, because in my area in the southeast, there was no support. I'm a male. It's okay for me to get up and do it. But for a woman, can you imagine how difficult it is for them?
Okay, stay there. I get where you're coming from. I understand what you're trying to get across, but I'm also asking you to understand why people, when they see a baby, when they see a video or they hear the cries of a baby withdrawing from drugs, you have to understand how that makes people so angry.
Listen, of course, I do. As I said, personally, I've seen it myself. It is absolutely horrible. Like, and I do think to myself, until I bring myself back, I do think, how can someone do that to such a precious human being? I completely understand that, but I can advocate for both sides because I've been there. That's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to excuse or absolve anyone from any blame. Listen, obviously, like, you have to put more effort into, doing what's right. I know that. I'm not defending anybody here, but like, you're trying to take it away and say like it's all the addict's fault. So, I just think that's unfair.
So, an addict who finds out she's pregnant and continues to use isn't at fault at all, no?
No, I'm not. If an addict continues to use, makes no effort, that addict has no right to be a mother, a child bearer. I totally agree with that.
Sure, I've already given you an example. I've already given you an example of 472 such cases in the last 4 years.
But listen, Adrian, you're also not taking this into account. Most mothers that I know of from my drug addiction, heroin addiction, if they become pregnant, they find out they're pregnant, they are withdrawn of heroin, they're given a methadone detox to help them. So the percentage of babies that go in and are withdrawn from methadone, most of these mothers are heroin addicts. So they're not withdrawn from heroin, they come off their heroin and they're given a stabilised medication called methadone. You don't have that in facts.
Okay, stay there for a second. 6797 981 is our telephone number. You can text or WhatsApp us on 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. I'd love to hear from you on this and find out how you feel about it. Where am I going next? I'm going to Shane. You're on 98FM. How are you, Shane?
Oh, that man just boiled. My blood is boiling.
Why?
I'm in work and the van was getting fixed. So I've been just sitting down listening to this because every single junkie out there, all they do is make excuse after excuse after excuse. If you want to get off something, you get off it. You choose to bang a needle into your arm. You choose to snort stuff up your nose. If that child isn't enough reason to get off drugs, no one ever will be in this life. They should be all sterilised. Simple as.
You can't. Yeah, but Shane, I understand the sort of anger that makes people say things like that. Okay, I do. I genuinely do. When I see the video that we have on our Facebook page, it makes me so angry. It makes me feel physically ill. Actually, had the truth be known. But Shane, to be talking about sterilising people, forcefully sterilise, you can't do that.
Not forcefully sterilising. What I'm saying is, there's help. That man saying there's not enough help out there. There's plenty of help out there. They choose not to take it. What my point is that if they have a child, fair enough, right? They fall pregnant, whatever it is. If they're not willing to get off the drugs, right? If they're not willing to go to every treatment centre possible, after that child, if they're still on the drugs, they should be sterilised. Why should they be allowed to bring a sick child in that my hard-earned tax money?
Okay, but hang on. Okay, you're admitting that we can't forcefully sterilise.
Not forcefully sterilise. I'm saying.
So how do we do it?
Options. Give them enough options to get off the drugs, right? And if they do not get off the drugs, then do it. Then force it, or just do not give them treatment. I'm not talking about the babies. I'm talking about the free medical, the free bus these junkies get to go to the methadone clinics, to pick up their methadone that we're paying for that man to say there's nothing out there. It's just excuse after excuse after excuse. I had a child gone back 17 years ago, and I get off at the wrong ward, and I get off at that drug ward. And my good God, I was standing there crying, listening to those poor children. And no matter, I asked the nurse, what can you do? And he goes, nothing. We have to let them cry it out. So how can anyone let it?
And like I said, Shane, I agree with everything you've just said. I find it disgusting. I find it sickening. Every other emotion you can think when you see a baby or even hear a baby going through that sort of withdrawal.
It's just screaming.
Okay, it is. I know, and I could hear it. But what I'm asking you is, realistically, what do you do to stop this happening?
Stop giving them. It's not that they're giving methadone. You did a program there going back a while ago, and this girl got on, and she's off drugs 13 years, but she's hooked on methadone.
Yes.
So she's not actually off the drugs. And she was saying, oh, well, I find it hard, and I was forced into drugs. You're not forced into anything. You choose to get up in the morning and go to work. You choose to bang a needle in your arm. You choose to sit at home. You choose to do whatever you want in life. So there's no one saying, like, think of someone who's an alcoholic or someone who has a gambling problem. There's nothing out there for them. They just get up off their holes and do something about it. So
okay, but stay there for 1 second, Shane. Stay there for a second. Derek, you're on 98FM. How are you, Derek? Derek, tell me about your experience in the Coombe Hospital.
Well, first of all, ladies and say I agree 100% with that last caller just said. Now, my young was born in the ambulatory before, and he's born 3 months premature. And there was one night I got told, my wife was upstairs in bed, and I got told not to go home. He took that sick. We thought he was going to die that night. And of course, I was outside smoking like a trooper. Your nerves are gone, as you could imagine. Mm-hmm. And I'll never forget one time I went out, and this zombie came in, is all I can say, to have a baby. She was out of her head, with a man there beside her, and he was off his head as well. And the look that ambulance man gave me, I'll never forget till the day I die.
And what, it was a look of horror, was it?
Of disgust. And it made it more so the fact that I seen other little kids up there fighting for their lives. Some kids didn't make it either. We were the lucky ones. And see someone here who doesn't give a toss about their kids going off injecting gear into her arm while she's just about to go into labour. Like, it's the most disgusting thing ever. And then you have decent people, as you were talking about last week, with the IVF. And you have people like who can't have kids and who give a kid a great home. You have these who just, all they care about is one thing, and it's sending not their children.
You see, let me just go back to Darren for a second. Darren, when you hear stories like that, you have to understand how... Okay, let me turn this on its head for a second, yeah? You there,
Okay.
Darren? Okay.
Yeah, I'm still here.
If a mother has a baby and she brings her baby home and she gives her baby cocaine or heroin or any other type of addictive drug, she would be arrested, prosecuted and jailed for child neglect. So what is the difference? Sorry, Darren, it's even illegal now to smoke a cigarette in a car with a child. So what's the difference between doing that, and you agree that woman would probably be locked away in jail for giving her child heroin. What is the difference with her giving a child heroin when that child is in her womb?
Well, you're totally taking what I'm saying out of context. I'm not saying if someone, up until they're giving having that child, they're taking drugs, they should have a child. I'm not saying that if somebody is continuing to take drugs up until the birth of that child, of course they don't deserve to have children. I've said that already. So don't take me as saying different. What I'm saying is, I know from my experience, women that have been in addiction, they have tried to get support, it wasn't there. The women that I've known that have been in the same kind of addiction as me have gotten support, but all they can do, and it's to protect the baby too, is they support them on a methadone program until the baby is born, and then they can be weaned off that. Like, you're taking what I'm saying out of context. Listen, if somebody is doing that and putting the child in danger, they don't deserve to have kids.
I've already said, Darren, 472 women in the last 4 years did exactly that.
I know, but listen, I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying, but I'm saying also on the flip side, if all women get the support that they wanted, I'm sure a lot of them would. Now, I'm not saying that these be seen outside the hospital, they don't exist. Of course they do. People like that, they don't deserve to have children. I'm agreeing on that.
Okay, let me just bring in one or two more calls. Megan, you witnessed firsthand babies going through addiction withdrawals when you were in the Rotunda.
No, it wasn't even witnessed it. It was a woman came in and she was pregnant, and she was a heroin addict, but she was screaming and roaring and demanding everything. And I was only in there 2 minutes and there was no one there, and she was just screaming and screaming and screaming and expecting everyone to move her and to get up. And all she cared about was getting in, getting seen and straight back out onto the streets, because that's all she kept talking about, was going back out and getting her fix. And
that was all that mattered to her. Not the fact that she was carrying a baby.
She didn't care about, no, and she was huge. She must have been nearly 9 months. She was really big.
And she was absolutely out of it.
Yeah.
And it is a sickening thing to witness, isn't it?
I'll stop. I'm nearly crying here talking about it and shaking. And that was 3 years ago now, this year.
But it's something that will never leave you.
No, never.
And as I was saying a while ago, there's an awful lot of pressure on pregnant women, for example, to not drink when they're pregnant.
Of course, I used to smoke heavily before I fell pregnant. And I remember the day I found out, straight away, the box of smokes were gone.
And in fact, we'll stay there for a second, Megan. Maggie, you also visited a hospital. Tell me your story.
Well, I was doing a project on FAS, and so I went to a local ward to see the effects of drugs and alcohol on babies. And the video you just played, it is exactly that. The noise is just, and especially when you're in the room, it's just so blood curdling. You can't understand why you can't stop it. Yes,
and this isn't your average baby cry. This is a shriek from a child.
No, I heard babies crying the whole way up to the hospital, and it's this beautiful sound, because they're looking for their mother, they're looking for their cuddle, their milk, whatever, and then these ones are just looking for their fix. They can't understand why they're not getting this thing that was, and now they have migraines. They have they're shaking you can actually hear if they're in the cot, or there was one in the bassinet, and you can actually hear the bassinet shaking, and that's how hard they're shaking.
Wow.
That it's actually nearly jumping off the floor, and they're just.
And I understand what Darren is trying to get across, that there needs to be more support for women in this situation and whatever. But how realistically do we prevent another 80 babies being born next year with the exact same thing?
Well, education you would think would be the one that would do it, but we all know the effects of heroin, and we all know that babies shouldn't be taking it. If we can't take it, babies definitely shouldn't be taking it. So I don't know what we can do. As long as there's heroin, there's going to be babies born addicted to it.
And I know as we speak today, like with Megan's story a couple of minutes ago, there is some drug-addicted woman visiting one of our maternity hospitals today who can't wait to get back out the door. Yeah,
This is a small unit I visited, and there was about 6 or 7 babies in there.
Wow. All right. But look, thanks very much indeed, Maggie, for your call. But I'm way out of time. Thank you very much, Megan, as well. And all of you. Fascinating conversation. Really is shocking that this still goes on. But I don't think anybody has the solution. That's the sad part about it. And the reality is another 80 babies will be born in the next year suffering withdrawal like that. This is 98FM's Dublin Talks.
98FM. The sound of the city.
98FM's Dublin Talks. Weekdays from 10 a.m.
With Adrian Kennedy.